Hello there, many thanks for watching Superscreen Television. This is Superscreen News at 6, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Blessed Omonose. The Kogi State High Court sitting in Lokoja has adjourned hearing of the bail application of Senator Dino Melaye for Thursday, May 10, 2018. This followed the inability of the parties to submit their counter affidavit and better affidavits to the written bail application by Melaye's counsel when Justice Nasir Ajano ordered the lawmaker to be transferred to the National Hospital Abuja. The prosecution, led by Alex Zinyon's son, read a counter affidavit to the written application for bail by Chief Mike Ozakome's son, Melaye's counsel, to which the latter had sought the court's permission to file a better affidavit to the court order to the counter affidavit by the prosecution. The federal government has been asked to sanction the leadership of the United Nations International Children's Fund, UNICEF, over their alleged suspicious plots to embolden and promote terrorism in the country. A group identified as Coalition for Peace in Nigeria made a call during a protest in Abuja questioning UNICEF leniency to allow some of its staff enlist in the club of undercover agents of foreign forces against Nigeria in disguised support for terrorism. Convener of the group alleged attempts by some international organizations who have rendered themselves to do some disgusting undercover jobs for some foreign forces which are sworn to destabilize, polarize and divide Nigeria.
We demand for the immediate withdrawal of that report on our military as it contains nothing other than baseless lies, fabrications and unfounded and insane adverts crafted to sabotage the ongoing war on terror in the country. The UNICEF and staff finger in this aberration have 21 days ultimatum. They have 21 days ultimatum to retract repulsive report. Any thought of disregarding this ultimatum by refusal to a corresponding rebuttal of this infamous report with the stipulated time frame, we shall have no option than to return to permanently occupy UNICEF office here in Abuja and in Nigeria until they are forced to vacate in Nigeria. No Nigeria is ready to tolerate any attempt by individual groups or persons or organizations to prolong the pains and agony of innocent children and women in the hands of Boko Haram.
The report has, however, provoked outrage from Nigerians, especially the coalition of civil society organizations, CSOs, who have now demanded a retraction and an apology from UNICEF to the Nigerian military and the government of Nigeria. No fewer than 27 of the 33 aspirants that participated in the governorship primaries of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in Ekiti State have called for dismemberment of the organizing committee led by Nasarawa State Governor Tanko Almakura. They also called for the cancellation of the vote cast by 4 local governments before the exercise was disrupted on Saturday. The decision was reached by the aspirant after an emergency meeting on Sunday in Ado-Ekiti. Notable aspirants present at Sunday's emergency meeting include a former governor and chieftain of the APC, Segun Oni, former speaker Femi Bamishile, presidential advisor on political matters Baba Femi Ojodu, former senator Ayo Arinse and Benga Aluko, Mojisola Yaya Kolade, Bimbo Daramola, amongst others. The aspirants were obviously opposed to Mr. Fayemi as they had insinuated that the alleged manipulations and compromises were done for his advantage. The aggrieved aspirant alleged that the committee was openly biased and incompetent in handling of the election. A senior advocate of Nigeria, San Awa Kalu, has faulted the Nigerian government for publishing names of alleged looters, He said what the government did was similar to an individual taking the law into his hands. The former Abia State Justice Commissioner and Attorney General, AGF, also described publication of the names in advance of conviction is provocative. He also described the act as self-helping, adding that self-help is not allowed in law, otherwise there will be chaos. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has accused Vice President Yemi Osinbajo of being a beneficiary of corruption. National Publicity Secretary of the party, Kola Ologbodiyan, who disclosed this, said Nigerians, particularly the youth, the younger generation, are thoroughly disappointed in Osinbajo for allegedly allowing himself to be used to divert public attention from impunity and corruption that has saturated the all-progressive-led Congress federal government. Ologbodiyan alleged that the vice president had failed to bring honor to his office with his utterance. Report says Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, was whisked away, during a section that turned violent at the meeting of the All Progressive Congress APC on Sunday. Some stakeholders of the party escaped being attacked by hoodlums. Others were not so lucky as they were attacked by men in Oka, the Anambra State capital, shortly after the party's World Congress. While some members of the party were expressing their displeasure over the outcome of the Congress, the tension heightened when the minister tried justifying the World Congress that was held at his word, but another party member, Tony Uwonye, disagreed with him, pointing out some issues. He noted the absence of the Congress panel, non-provision of party membership register for the Congress, non-availability of the resource sheet, which was reportedly due to the absence of panel, as well as the alleged existence of an imposter. A few panel was inaugurated despite the appeal and explanations by the State Publicity Secretary, Okelo Mmandu Keafe, had the national editor of the party, George Mogwalu. The meeting ended inconclusively as the new Congress panel had no chance to address the party or scheduled a new date for a fresh Congress. As part of measures for reconciliation ahead of the 2019 elections, Ogun State Governor Ibikola Amoshu and former Governor and Chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Shegun Osunba, have met on Sunday. Report says their discussion centered on the Saturday's World Congresses, which went without violence. Osunba attributed the success of the World Congresses to the unity and understanding that now existed among party faithfuls in the state. Osunba also commended Governor Amoshu for working towards ending the differences that existed between factions of the party in the state. A socio-political group in Ekiti State, Ekiti Transparency and Accountability Group, ETAG, has described the conduct of the Ekiti 2018 APC Governorship Committee headed by Nasarawa State Governor Tanko Amakura as shameful, gross and uncivilized. The group made the observation in a statement signed by its Director General Adetoye Ajibola and Executive Secretary Fatai Aziz, and made available to journalists in Ado-Ekiti after the Bauchi primary election on Saturday in Ekiti State. The group said it is unfortunate that the committee, which is supposed to be an unbiased entity, failed every test in discharging a credible, transparent and acceptable primary election for less than 3,000 delegates in Ekiti State. It has commended all the aspirants and their followers for the mature and civil way they expressed their grievances while the exercise was ongoing despite provocation. Away from that now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has sent letters of warning to all political parties asking them to stop campaigns. The warning was equal to activities of majority of the political parties, which is considered to be against provision of the law on electioneering. You will recall that the Commission had released the timetable and schedule of the 2019 general elections in January, which it said campaigns must not commence before December, which is 3 months to the commencement of the elections. However, Majority of the political parties ignored the timetable and flooded the political space with campaigns. The electoral body is said to have expressed worry and therefore asked its state resident electoral commissioners to call the attention of the political parties in the state to the provisions of the law guarding electoral activities. Ahead of the 2019 elections, Nigerians have expressed their reserve regarding the qualities they look for in a leader. While some opted for a charismatic leader, others opined that a leader with people orientation in mind is the best candidate to mount the state of leadership in the country. They also gave an assessment of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration of the All Progressive Congress.
Specific definition of leadership because it means different things to different people. However, a leadership is believed to combine the analytical side of vision, creation with a passion of shared values and creating something that is really meaningful to the people being led. In Nigeria, leadership is a major challenge, as many believe Nigeria has never been blessed by leaders who ride on the path of truth, fairness, and equity due to its political and socio-economic regression that has made the nation appear as though it is not growing. Though there are exceptional leaders, which for some Nigerians are Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ahmadu Bello, and Murtala Mohammed, for some, after him, the Nigerian state calls for questioning. Speaking with these Nigerians, Obasanjo then was greedy. They say Yaradua was sick. And then for Goodluck Jonathan, his tenure was attributed to non-performance due to corruption and was eventually voted out.
What is wrong with leadership is lack of truth. They should be truthful to Nigerians. They should not, because of their selfish interest, and put their own selfish interests above the lives of Nigerians.
We have no leader. We only have rulers, because they have not been they have not set example of a leadership. We've not seen. All we've been seeing every day is fighting within the National Assembly. We expect a change and place a fixing of things in order, but we've not seen it.
We have a very tough situation concerning the leadership of Nigeria, simply because of the kind of legislature we are having. They had the major problem, I can say categorically, they are the major problem of Nigeria. The problem Nigeria is facing presently is not the problem of whether presidency or whatever. It's the problem of all this judiciary and the legislature.
The philosopher said that when there is a kind of crisis in the particular time, you need either a strong person or a strong kind of institution. In this present situation, I think I would prefer a strong person, a strong personality. We cannot get a strong what do you call it, structure now. But if you have this strong person, the leaders will decide what we percolate.
Today, another government is in power under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, who enjoyed a goodwill from the public on the basis that he is the strong man and the messiah to Nigeria's problem. What are Nigerians now saying about his government?
The chief job of any head of state or whoever is, one, security, getting your workers paid, and of course making sure that corruption is brought to the barest minimum. So in all these things he has failed.
What is not doing right is not the right president. He's not fighting for corruption, he's doing the wrong thing.
He has fought in the area of corruption. They are doing something about the health sector. In the area of judiciary, we can see what has transpired.
It's a clear cut that this government is a failure already.
All his agenda, all what he has promised Nigeria, he could not be able to do anyone. All what he was saying is that he's just pursuing those people that are looting. There is no anywhere corruption is not in all over the world. So they know the way they manage it. So you can manage your corruption, not that every time you are pursuing this one steal money, this one steal money, and with that one you will not do anything.
I have not seen the change that we're yearning for. And besides, there's no security in the country. the economic-wise is poor.
They say we are the leaders of tomorrow, but they're not ready to leave the position. So I think the old fags should please retire and let the new breeds lead. Even if we make mistakes, let us make the mistakes. Let us lead. They've done enough.
Interestingly, the president has declared for second term. And this has been characterized with lots of criticisms from different quarters. For these Nigerians, while some say they will vote for him, others say they will never vote for him.
I am not voting for him. I need a replacement of Buhari.
Why won't I vote for Buhari in 2019?
I will not vote for him. He's not doing well.
So I will not vote for him in 2019.
I will vote for him in 2019. Why? Because he's leading this country right.
I don't even intend to. But if I see a reason to, that someone of a much average or age is ready to step up to make sure that our voices are heard, then I am ready to vote.
With criticisms that have trailed leaders from the past in different administrations in this country, and now the present administration being battered left and right, one begins to wonder whether Nigerians truly know the kind of leader that they truly want. Is it about strong individuals or strong institutions? It remains to be seen whether President Muhammadu Buhari will succeed in his second term ambition. Only time will tell.
A cross-section of Nigerians speaking there. National Enforcement Coordinator of the Copyright Society of Nigeria in Edo and Delta States, Biodun Egwaklide, says the time has come for every intellectual property owner to enjoy their creative work like the Western world. Abiodun lamented the lack of stringent laws guiding every creative act in Nigeria, describing it as a big problem that affects the intellectual world.
There are a lot of names, but no money. The reason for that is that the intellectual property is not protected. Somebody like Michael Jackson, his estate is even making more money at his death than when he was alive. I keep comparing this jurisdiction and foreign jurisdiction.
He also assured on Coulson's commitment to ensure musicians make a good return on investment.
If you're a musician and you have created or sung a song, produced a song, nobody can use that work without your permission. Whether it's in trademark, whether it's in patent, yes, the first one, look, if you create a design for your product today, nobody will use that design.
You will recall that Coulson, as a body, is yet to fully reconcile its leadership issues at the national front. The National Law Drug Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Edo State Command, says it has arrested 41 persons for allegedly trafficking in illicit drugs in the state in April. The Assistant Commander and Head, Operations and Intelligence of the Command, Peter Oga, disclosed this to journalists. Oga said that suspects, including a distributor of codeine, were arrested for drug offenses ranging from possession, peddling, and consumption in various parts of the state. Oga also said the four farms where substance suspected to be cannabis sativa were being cultivated were also destroyed within the period. To health matters now, the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, has appealed to the federal government to honor its agreement with the Joint Health Sectors Union, JSUT, and end the ongoing strike in the health sector. The association made the appeal in a communique issued at the end of its 58th Annual General and Scientific and Delegations Conference. According to the communique read by its new president, Francis Adebayo, the association said it is disparaged that the strike and appealed to the federal government to end it soon. The Kaduna State Police Command has announced the deployment of 3 additional police mobile units to reinforce security in Benin Gwari. 27 persons were reportedly killed during the weekend, with several houses set ablaze after suspected bandits attacked the community. The command spokesman, Mukhtar Aliyu, told journalists that no arrest has been made, but efforts are on to track down the killers. The Kaduna State government had also said an army battalion would be permanently deployed in the area to check the killings. The statement added that the government had directed the State Emergency Management Agency to immediately provide relief materials to the affected communities. You're watching Superscreen News at 6. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll bring you business news. Please stay. Welcome back, and now to the world of business. The Federal High Court of Nigeria will hear a case to compel the Nigerian government to take back one of Nigeria's most lucrative oil blocks, which has been at the center of $1.1 billion multinational corruption scandal on Tuesday. The case is brought by Nigerian civil society organization Human Environmental Development Agenda, HEDA, who are demanding that the government revoke the Operating Production License, OPL, on grounds that the entire Malabu transaction is unconstitutional, illegal, and void as it is not legally granted. The motion filed by HEDA at the Federal High Court of Nigeria requires the Nigerian Attorney General to appear on May the 8th. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said the federal government has saved more than 200 billion naira after it eliminated ghost workers from the Federal Civil Service. Osinbajo disclosed this during his keynote address at the ongoing Open Government Week, which started today. The Vice President said the government has put in place the Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audit, which helps to keep a check on the federal payroll and pensions. The FG has also established the Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audit to clean up federal payroll and pension system across our ministries, departments and agencies, and these have saved the FG over 200 billion naira by eliminating ghost workers. Still in the world of business, the Lagos State government says it has plans to redevelop about 100 slum settlements across the state to make them more habitable. Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Rotimi Ogunleye, who disclosed these at the 2018 ministerial press briefing, said the Lagos State Urban Renewal Agency is working towards the regeneration and urbanization of the state into a befitting megacity that is livable and economy buoyant. Ogunleye said this would also help to prevent building collapse and as well reduce blight in the state. According to him, the public-private partnership approach instead of direct government funding has been adopted to achieve the slum renewal. If you're just joining us, this is Superscreen News at 6. We'll go for another short break, and when we return, we'll bring you foreign and sport updates. Just stay.